Hey people, what is up? Welcome back to our channel. Once again, it's me, your bearded bro, QuickSilver 15, back with another video. And today we'll be reviewing another Netflix series. And we've got to say that once we started this series, we just couldn't take our tentacles off of it. And of course, it's not that kind of tentacles you're thinking of. It's... So, Squid Game is the hottest show on Netflix as of this moment, and essentially it is a battle royale and where people play a bunch of deadly version of kids games, and apparently rich billionaires or just trillionaires of some sorts are betting on the lives of these people, and they're trying to see who manages to win it all. So getting into the specifics of the story, so essentially we follow the story through the eyes of Seong Gi-hun. And he is right now, during the story, he is a chauffeur and he is broke. He has a terrible gambling problem, and he is actually surprisingly lucky, as you find out throughout the season of Squid Game, because you know he is surprisingly lucky. He wins a lot of these games out of pure luck alone, and so he also has a debt of 6 million won to the Jopo, or the Korean mafia of sorts. It's not really implied which mafia it is, but you know, I guess that's like the Yakuza of Korea. And yeah, of course, his mom also has a terrible disease, and his ex-wife is moving to the US with his daughter, so he kind of wants a lot of money so he can maintain custody of his daughter. So he is a very desperate man, and you kind of see why he would be trapped by the recruiters to be baited into joining such a deadly competition. So of course, out of his desperation, again, he is recruited by the goblin guy himself, of course, none other than Gong-yu. And yeah, he is recruited to join these games. So it's not really labeled the Squid Game by the people around them. They're just called the games, because Squid Game is just a game they play throughout this battle royale. It's actually kind of nameless. I mean, the recruiters or the security guys and the sponsors only ever call them the games. And actually, Squid Game is just one of the games they play in this season. So it's kind of unclear if multiple people can win after accomplishing all 6 games, but how the organizers manipulated the game and kind of pushed people over the edge, quite literally speaking sometimes. I think they kind of just want one person to win it all, but I'm not sure, because some of them were planning to team up, but apparently, you know, stuff happens and we're not gonna spoil that. But yeah, apparently how the organizers manipulate the whole event is they're kind of expecting only one person to win it all. So yeah, there are a lot of interesting characters in this series, and with their own personal stories. We have the character of Cho Sang-woo, who is in debt for 600 billion won, and you know, he lost a lot of people's money through I guess investing in wrong stock and futures, and yeah, he just owes people a lot of money. And of course, there is this guy also who is called Ali, and he is Pakistani dude, and he has his family in Korea, which he sent back to the Pakistan because, you know, he had an accident with his company and now he can't work and he's broke and he kind of needs money, and that's why he joined the games as well. Of course, we have the character of Kang Se-byuk, and she is essentially a thief, and she's trying to get enough money to save her mother from North Korea, and of course her little brother as well, who is stuck in an orphanage as of the moment. And there are a lot of other characters like the other mafia guy, but these are actually just the main ones you would probably be more inclined to cling on to as the season progresses, because they are very interesting and very relatable, especially if you're a grown adult trying to make a living and you know how hard it is to make money, then definitely you would relate to some of these guys. So every one of these characters are, you know, just morally complex, and none of them are essentially good, but you kind of get that they're only doing these terrible things out of desperation and because they have to, or else they would die or whatever. So yeah, this is a very dark and again a morally complex story. A lot of philosophy went behind the storytelling, and yeah, it's just a beautifully written story. And although one thing I do have to say is the main villain is kind of bland. I mean, they could have dwelled or explored his philosophy a bit more, apart from just saying that he was bored and he had a lot of money. I mean, I guess, I don't know, maybe we can't relate to that particular aspect of the main villain because, you know, none of us really has experienced billions of dollars of money that we can just throw away or whatever. But yeah, for me, he is a bit unrelatable in a way of how he explained why he did the things he did. But yeah, we can't really go talk about the main villain without spoiling the whole story, but you kind of see that it's leaning towards him. There are little hints, or maybe you feel like he is testing the players of some sort. But yeah, it's pretty obvious when you think about it, if you rewatch it after having seen everything. So the production value of this series is just definitely amazing. There are a lot of amazing sets. The cinematography was beautiful. I find myself being at awe of the shots or the cinematography of it all. There are these beautiful tracking and panning and dolly zooms and just amazing tableauic shots of the characters, and a fun little Easter egg. I'm surprised none of the players noticed, but the games they were playing were actually painted or plastered around the dorm they were living in. So it's surprising that none of them noticed that. It could have helped them all a lot. There were hints of which games they would be playing next. Of course, there are some that weren't exactly accurate, because for example, getting shot in the head with a revolver, although I haven't seen that happen personally, thank God. But yeah, knowing for a fact that if you get blasted in the head point blank by a revolver, it wouldn't just cause a hole as much as Hollywood tell us it would, but it would actually just blow your head clean off or whatever, or half of it off. But yeah, I guess they just did it again for the additional effect and drama of it all, because I guess having a dead expression is better than just, yeah, an exploded head, I guess, at times. So for a gory series, there is just a surprising amount of character development, and just this show is very heavy, especially in episode 6. Now we won't go through it, but yeah, it's just the most heartbreaking episode for me. And if you've seen this series, then you would know why. But for example, episode 1 had the most deaths of over like 200 people, and yeah, it was a bloodbath. But episode 6, only a few people died, but you know, each death just has a heavy meaning, and it just bears a great impact for the series, because you really stood by some of these characters and you kind of wanted them to survive. But yeah, I guess you can't get what you want always, and especially in and during the Squid Game. So yeah, overall, Squid Game is just an outstanding series. I really don't know how they will top it off, you know, how they would continue or make things better in season 2. I'm expecting season 2 to kind of suffer from the season 2 flop or the season 2 syndrome, where it's not as good as the original, but hopefully they pick it up on season 3. I mean, they could, you know, surprise us. Hopefully they do. I really hope they surprise us with season 2 and come up with a super interesting story. But yeah, season 1 was just, it set a high bar, so I'm really excited to see what they do in season 2. So yeah, overall we're giving Squid Game an epic 9 out of 10, and it's short 1 point because of, again, the villain. I wasn't satisfied by his explanation of why he did the whole thing when he's just bored or whatever. I was expecting some sort of harsher or darker, twisted moral issues. You know, they would talk a bit about that, but yeah, hopefully they explore it more, the philosophy behind it in season 2. And yeah, I guess that was the biggest downside for me. And yeah, so what was your favorite part of this series apart from the memes? Because there are a plenty. If you want to go into this series blind, then I suggest shutting off your Facebook for just 2 days, because we watched this over 2 days. I mean, each episode is like an hour long, so yeah, it takes a lot of time, but each episode is definitely packed. I mean, a lot of things happen, and it is almost an hour long, but it does feel longer than that, but not in a boring sense, because it just a lot of things happen per episode, and it's super good, super interesting. Yeah, so I do recommend you guys watch this series. And yeah, let us know what your favorite part is down in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please do consider hitting that subscribe and notification bell so you'll be notified of our next videos, our next reviews, our next whatever. And once again, it's me, your beautiful QuickSilver 15, signing off. Peace out.